What is something you wish the opposite sex understood better? That I can't hear you when you start talking to me from the other side of the house. Holy shit. Every damn day. Hold on, I can't hear you with the iPad going, the TV playing, and you're in the other room mumbling into the corner. Now admittedly part of the problem was my listening to music way too loud when I was younger, but it's not all me. My wife will yell a question to me when she showers, and when I yell the answer back say, "You have to wait, I can't hear you. You'll have to speak up, I'm wearing a towel." This reminds me of a couple living in the house behind my office. Usually when I'm going outside for a break I can hear them arguing. It's almost always the husband outside doing some chore and the wife yelling something at him and the husband yelling back, "Woman, I can't hear anything you're saying to me, if you want me to hear it come here and tell me up close." Then the wife keeps yelling from the house, then the husband yelling, "I still can't hear you." Then eventually he just stops what he was doing and marches inside to go inside and see what she wanted. Then he leaves yelling, "Why did you make me stop what I'm doing for that?" And her yelling, "I didn't tell you to stop what you're doing." Sometimes older couples are hilarious. One of the few things my dad ever taught me that I agree with is that if you want to talk to some, you go to them. Don't yell at me from another room. Or try to talk to me while the TV is on, the exhaust fan is running, and you are facing into the refrigerator while speaking in a normal tone of voice. If you can't see my face I can't hear you. I have hearing aids and it's still my fault that she has to repeat herself 90% of the time when talking to me. I can't hear any louder, you have to speak louder. You know, like when you have to say everything at a louder volume the second time, try using that volume the first time. I'm reasonably certain I have my own loud music hearing loss, but goddamn, if we're sitting next to each other and I have to keep asking you to repeat yourself because you're mumbling and mixing languages under the loud music speakers, I'm going to lose interest and get distracted. Just speak up, please. My wife claims I'm going deaf, but she's the only person I can't understand. Just recently her own parents took my side and told her she mumbles or walks out of the rooms while still talking. My wife claims I'm going deaf, but she's the only person I can't understand. Same here. I went with her to an audiologist. He said my hearing was excellent, but my tinnitus overlaps with some of her voice, so it'll get lost. It was great getting confirmation that I couldn't hear specifically her. Oh yeah, scientific proof that it's just her. I am sure that went over well. She's medical, so it went down okay. Mumbles into pillow in Russian. What? Why don't you ever listen to me? My wife is the same. And now that we have kids, I've realized it's just with me. She speaks loudly and clearly to the kids, and I can hear perfectly what she's saying to them or shouting to them across the room. But she just mumbles to me, speaks in a normal soft voice from several rooms away. And, to top it off, if I ever notice she's talking to me and ask her what she said, she only repeats the last word. Then she'll say the last word one or two more times, looking at me incredulously like I'm the idiot for not knowing what she's talking about when she's literally only saying one word. Clearly, I didn't hear the first 95% of the sentence and magically only missed the last word. You gotta gimme the whole thing, hun. Honestly, I've started to just respond to her with a random word when she does it. She'll be saying whatever her last word is, and I'll just be like, banana, or papaya. Okay, maybe not quite random, as I tend to name fruits. I have a variant on that issue with my husband. He starts the sentence clearly and loudly and trails off at the end. I will ask him to repeat, but the only loud bit is the first bit I already heard. He then trails off again. I have sat there asking him to repeat 5 times in a row, stating that I couldn't hear the second half of the sentence, and he still won't tell me just the ending part. It drives me bonkers. Are they doing it maliciously? My mom straight doesn't finish her sentences while at home. Not being vindictive, she just doesn't vocally conclude her thoughts, but it drive my dad up the wall. You need to what? I can't do it if you don't provide nouns and verbs. I'm partially deaf. Sometimes I can't hear people who are talking to me from 3 feet away. I think for people who aren't hearing impaired, there is this subconscious cue that you pick up on that tells you someone is talking to you if they start speaking before explicitly getting your attention. If I miss that cue, I will tune out everything that was said because my brain thinks it wasn't directed at me. When I say, Just like that. I don't mean speed up to 100 miles per hour. One time I was with a guy who was doing hand stuff on me, and he was absolutely wounding me with how hard he was pressing down. I asked him to press lighter. He started moving his hand slower, while applying the same amount of pressure. My ex was this way and it made me feel really bad about myself for a long time. He said I was overcomplicated and impossible to please. My boyfriend now has no problem pleasing me because he does well with instructions. This is a classic. Most of us understand what you mean, but there are reasons that this frustrating thing happens. There is a lot going on. A guy may be supporting his weight on one arm, holding an ass or entire female body in position with his other hand, controlling angle, depth, pace, trying to cum, avoiding a staring contest with your cat, wondering if your dog is about to lick him again, being totally engaged in the moment, whatever. Then you hear, just like that, and you have to suddenly make yourself consciously aware of the several different variables that you are simultaneously maintaining, of which several were non-conscious, while your partner may be squirming or maneuvering. It's not deliberate. We are trying. We appreciate the communication and are probably locking in those settings like 12-position luxury car seats to make it easier next time. Edit. A common thing is for a woman to say that just as you have changed something. Do you mean what you just started doing or what you were doing right until that moment? And usually, if you change one thing, you have changed others. Edit 2. I wasn't trying to suggest that failure to keep doing it, just like that, is unavoidable, particularly difficult, or really frequent. I was trying to give an example of what may be going on from the other side when this happens, because I grok how confusing and frustrating that could be. A good chunk of the men who need reassurance are most likely not getting enough compliments in the relationship. This isn't always the case, but I always felt insane dating certain people, and then with the right person who complimented me, is genuinely attracted to me and initiated things, and who actually loves me. I now think others weren't that attracted to me, even ex-fiancé, and I have never felt more confident and safe in a relationship. Looking back, my intuition was correct with the other people I dated, and that's why I never felt secure. Hello. I totally get what you mean. Before my current partner, I never felt secure in my relationships due to lack of reassurance and affirming actions, which led to spiraling and wondering why I wasn't good enough. I would push the feeling down and try different things to get their attention and approval, but it only made me feel worse when they were unresponsive to my efforts, leading to a toxic cycle. You say that the right person makes all the difference, and it's completely true. I've never felt more secure and comfortable in a relationship until now, and holy shit, what a world of difference it is to have a partner that makes you feel cherished and communicates their affection through words and actions. So happy that you've found you're someone who makes you feel loved. If you wanted fries, you should have asked for fries. Especially if they don't want a full fries, because then they don't finish the second order of fries and I get more fries. And don't get mad at me for buying you fries just in case. If you wanted fries, you should have gotten them at the hamburger store. Both sexes should understand that dating is a potential relationship's very best behavior. If you're having issues during dating and can't figure out some compromises, it's not going to get better. Fingering doesn't mean you need to jam your fingers in us. Be gentle FFS. That shit hurts. Loudly crying and cut your nails. Not only cut them, but file them or at least rub them on your jeans to get rid of the sharp edges. Didn't know rubbing on jeans worked. Newer jeans work better for this in my opinion, but yeah, it's like a soft emery board. I'm not thinking about anything. No, I'm not cheating, I'm playing games with the lads. Bullshit, I saw your no scope hack. Oh fuck, Clara's been on my computer again. That's really weird. I never watch gaming stuff on YouTube, but for some reason on my recommendations this morning was idiot streamers who got caught cheating live. Bored. I decided to stick it on, and this exact incident was in there. I'd have never got this reference before, that is, I don't watch gaming stuff, or really play games anymore. How odd. For both sexes, we are flawed people and we are not perfect. Stop expecting everything to be perfect 100% of the time. I'm far from perfect, but I strive to make myself better. I'm married guy. It's one of the main reasons I have trouble dating. The pressure to be absolutely flawless is just too much to handle. Are you on the young side? I stopped feeling that pressure from people I was dating round about my mid-late 20s, and I've heard other people say the same. Wish both sexes better understood biased selections. Fuckboys, fuckgirls, arrogant egotistical people and deplorable twats will be overrepresented in the pool of people you encounter in a dating setting. Normal people form relationships, and get tired of all the BS, all of which makes them underrepresented. Honestly, I wish people were just better at understanding selection bias in general. Yeah, unfortunately most people think of their unique experience as how the world is, but of course that's all the first-hand data that they have to work with. Exactly. Wrong. People spend a lot more time in the dating pool, either because they don't want to have a relationship, fuckboys, or because they get broken up with frequently, character defects. The people you want tend not to return to the dating pool quickly once they find a great match. As a result, those 1/10 wrong people represent 9/10 of your interactions. It's not that all men, women are assholes. Everyone is meeting the same assholes over and over again until two people find each other and exit the mayhem together. Love this. Thank you, you're giving me hope. Which may just be prolonging the agony of dating until I give up entirely. I live in a town with a shallow dating pool and my fiance's friends all date the same guys. There are like 100 active guys online, but they all swipe the same new guy who just hooks up with them all and leaves. It's so obvious what's going on, but to them all guys are jerks even though they have created a digital harem. They all compare notes, but it's stupid because of course they all have the same experience. If you're cuddling and the man gets a boner, that doesn't always mean he wants sex. I read this somewhere here on Reddit and have since started calling it an affection erection. Seemed pretty on point to me. I read someone called it a heart on. If that ain't the truth, then I'm made out to be the horny guy who just always wants to have sex. When I was with an ex, she got angry at me for always having morning wood. Sometimes I just want to play with it while it's soft. No chance, it's quantum physics down there. You can't so much as make an observation of the system without affecting it. I know you turn on at feeling my morning wood, but I need to pee. I just got an erection. Oh, fear not, it's nothing to do with your state of undress. I simply need to urinate. Likewise, a lack of erection is not an immediate physical failing or lack of interest. I do not stand at full attention from an attractive person being near me. It'd make life impossible, especially with a long-term partner. Some mood setting can be required. Cold fusion, if someone knew more about it, we would all benefit. I'd settle for a scalable, efficient method of regular fusion. I'm not greedy. Do you mean the theoretical process of cold fusion where nuclear fusion of molecules happens near room temperature? Yes, thank you. Just like a man who does not understand womanly things such as how deuteron fusion into helium has yet to result in the production of gamma rays. All the normals are taken, all that is left are strange and anti-normal quarks. It occurred to me this is extra amusing because all quarks have a pair. That op doesn't play hockey. I wish everyone could understand this better. Are you Canadian or something? BS. We all know every Canadian plays hockey. Maybe this will get featured on those Reddit videos with interesting Minecraft background video edit. Wow, didn't expect to get so many likes. Thank you all. Maybe you get featured in the next video. Just because you keep telling me it's okay to have emotions doesn't mean I'm going to burst into tears. I have emotions, they're just quiet and don't bother people. I'm not emotionally distant or unfeeling. I'm just not going to burst into tears because the dog died in Marley and Me. I'll cry when my dog dies in My Dog and Me. This exactly. I don't have the link, but I remember reading something from someone who was FTM on here, and he was talking about how he thinks testosterone affects emotion because he just stopped crying, feeling is volatile, etc. Throw in socialization on top of that for most men and it's evident we're gonna feel things differently. I'm not being some toxic male, I just don't cry. Nothing is wrong with that. We don't always control our dicks. Just because I have an erection doesn't always mean I'm thinking of sex or want to fuck. And opposite, if I lose my erection during whatever games we are playing doesn't always mean that I suddenly find you repulsive or no longer want you. And a bonus inside tip, if a man does lose his erection for whatever reason, don't make it a point to say anything about it. Just act like it's all part of the plan and usually it can work out. You start asking if anything is wrong, now it's a problem. Start saying things about being shy or anything like that, now it's a problem. Just roll with it and enjoy what happens. We never get your hints. If you want something, say ITFFS. I am a woman who never got the hint. One time a dude I was crushing on told me he and his friends went to the zoo, and he was thinking, man, I bet Casper 13 would enjoy this too, but I don't have her number. That's what he told me. I said, yeah, that would have been fun. And walked off. I told my friend about it later. She called me a moron because dude was trying to get my number, and I was obvious and blew him off. Obligatory reposting of Is She Into You? Before my wife and I were actually dating, we talked regularly at work. She was asking me about my hobbies, and I mentioned playing League of Legends. She says, oh, maybe I could come over and you could teach me to play it sometime. Yeah, sure. So she shows up and for some reason she doesn't seem very interested in the game she came to learn how to play. Keeps talking to me, putting her hand on my arm instead of on the keyboard, mouse where it should be. Nothing happened that night, but when I asked her out like a month later she was like, oh. I thought you weren't interested because you kept brushing me off while teaching that game. Well, obviously, you came for game lessons, not hanky-panky. No, I was definitely there for the D.O. My wife, you may have lost the battle, but you won the war. There is hope for oblivious men. Had a chick want to learn some of my more complex board games. I take my board games seriously. She told me off via text after 3 hours of Robinson Crusoe. Yeah, I'm a pretty hardcore board gamer too. My now wife got pulled into a game of Beyond Earth a few months ago and she's still giving me grief about having to calculate Delta 5 and plan multiple moves in advance from that game. It's not as romantic, but plainly saying, I want the D, would fix so many issues on the communication department. Don't come to my place claiming to be interested in my hobbies but really after the D, because I will museum guide you through all that shit that is my pastime and the idea of unzipping will scarcely occur to me. Her, hey, let me put my number in your phone. Me, that's weird that she put her number in, why wouldn't she just use the Messenger app? Oh well, girls are weird I guess. Wait, are you telling me that girl in my math class didn't do that just so I can send her our notes whenever she missed class? Unironically 50-50, yay, definitely 50-50. Girl I knew and had a minor crush on in HS got my phone number from a mutual friend and texted me to ask if I could drop off a copy of a worksheet for her at her house. Should I come over right now? Yes, I walk over and knock on the door, but nobody answers, so I text her to let her know I'm there. She texts back, oh, I'm out at the salon right now, just leave it under the welcome mat. Again, you really can't tell. Not necessarily, haha. I'm certain some women do use and give out their numbers for things that aren't related to attraction.